Hey y'all, it's Megan. Welcome back to the channel. Glad y'all are here today. Come spend some time with us today. We're going to be doing a little work out here on this new garden fence, and well, it's snowing. They were saying that the snow wasn't supposed to start till sometime after lunch because the air was too dry, but we're just going to see how much work we can get done this morning before maybe it won't get too bad. We'll see.
It don't feel too bad out here right now. As long as you got plenty of clothes on, you can't even tell it's snowing. It's such fine flurries. It's actually gotten harder just since we've been talking.
Yeah, it has. But one question I want to answer real quick before we get started. Somebody brought up a really good point the other day in the comments and said, can you over garden, and will this be too much for us adding on to our garden like this? Well, the reason we're doing this, y'all, is we've always grown a ton of food. And if you go back in old gardening videos, you'll see that we grow a lot of stuff. And well, it makes it so much easier if that stuff is closer to the house. So our plan is a lot of things that were grown at the creek or up the road, we're going to move to here. So we won't necessarily be growing more stuff. It's just going to make it a whole lot easier on us because it's actually going to be localized right here in the backyard. So
that's right.
I just wanted to address that because it was a really good question. So like I said, we won't necessarily be growing more stuff. It's just going to be more localized.
That's right. So before we get started with what we're going to do today, I'm going to kind of give y'all an update on what we done yesterday. We didn't film any of this. I went ahead and cut off the posts. They're all about 10 foot tall now, same as this other garden. We trimmed up this cherry tree right here, big time. And then this poplar tree up here by the driveway, we trimmed up too. And so that opened up all this space a lot better to where it allows more light to get in. And we decided to get the chipper out. And so we got us a pretty decent pile of wood chips right here that we can probably, since they're brand new wood chips, I'll probably use those for either the walking path down that side of the fence or somewhere. They're not going to be used as mulch. They'll be more or less mulch for the walking path. Mm-hmm. But anyways, our plan for today is, since the ground has dried out just a little bit since the last time I put these posts up.
It's snowing harder.
It is getting harder. We may not be out here long at all. I don't know. But our plan is, since the ground's dried up quite a bit, Meagan's going to go around and tamp around these posts a little bit more while I get the T-post put up. And really, that shouldn't take no longer than 30, 45 minutes. So hopefully we can get that done before things start getting really bad out here.
I enjoy tamping posts, as weird as that is. So.
And y'all, Meagan has a lot more patience at it than I do too. I get bored with it. Hey, Meagan has to have those strong arm muscles though so she can beat up on me.
That's right. That's exactly right. I have to keep you straight. They're tamped pretty good, Andy.
Are they?
Yeah. I mean, there's a little bit of looseness around them, but not much. This pole's cold. I may have to go get me some gloves.
Well, that's the only reason I've got gloves on, is because the metal is so cold.
Well, right there's a spot that's not.
Starting to stick on the ground. So we are using 8-foot T-post here. So I got to get up on a ladder to drive them in. I want these spaced far enough from that post that I'm going to have me an angle brace in here, and it's going to be 8 foot long. And then I want it far enough off of this that the bottom part of the angle can sit against this T-post to keep it from pushing out. I hope that makes sense. That's exactly how I done it on the other garden over there, and it worked good. So that's what I'm going for. But from what I measured on the other fence, we're sitting right at 6 foot. The T-post is 6 foot off of this post, and then I have an 8-foot piece going up to that corner, and it works. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. Matter of fact, I'm probably going to put it a little bit closer than 6 foot, because I can always make this piece shorter, but I won't be able to make it longer. So let's do that. Let's go 5 foot. Okay. We're good and level. Okay, so I hope that's right. You know what? I think for safe measure, I'm just going to make sure it's going to work. So if you didn't quite understand what I'm talking about, right there is what I'm going to go for. So right now, the brace piece is too long, but I'll cut it down to the length that'll fit inside that triangle. And I have a 45 on this end and a 45 down there on the ground. And not only will this be buried up in the ground some, it's also somewhat resting against the bottom of that T-post. And what that's going to do is push on that post that away, because the fence will be pulling that away on the post. So if we go another 5 foot, that's there. Off of that's 5 foot. How about that? 5 foot actually spaces them out pretty even too. Got lucky on that. This one's trying to twist. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's the one I just kind of give up on, because I could not get it to tamp. Yeah, it still looks like it's pretty wet. That's one cool thing about snow, though. You can work out here in it and you don't get wet like you would rain. There's rocks everywhere out here. Right where I want to put that post, there's a rock. Sounds like a big rock too. There we go, it went around the rock. Close enough. Well, I got 3 in. Hand me that thing there. You hold that post. Okay.
I didn't know it would snow today.
What do you mean you didn't know it was going to be snowing today? Are you lifting weights?
Yeah.
Going back to the corner.
Okay. And hold this over there on that post. This is the farthest gap we've had yet. 14 foot right there. We almost need 2 posts.
All right, go back and get one. Come on.
We could put. Oh, it's really coming down now.
Look at the
And we're
mud.
pretty much, I see it. And we're pretty much done.
Well, we're at a stopping point.
Well, a stopping point, that's what I meant. Well, I mean, we're done with what
We've
we
got to
planned
what I
on doing.
wanted to get done today.
And the reason we come out here fighting this snow to do this is we wanted to do it before it got muddy again.
Yeah.
So
And this one right here has been the only problem, child.
this one has been, yeah, a while ago when I first come over here to tamp it, I went down like this and it was like it was a hole under it. And I bet it went down to about right there.
She said she's already put a bunch of dirt around that one, which this was the wettest hole. That's a low area right there, and it's really wet in that spot.
But it's
Tiger's getting white.
Yep.
I see Tiger's got snow on her.
She's not a fan of snow.
No, she ain't. She looks plumb pitiful. She looks like one of those dogs on the commercial.
commercials. Poor old Tiger wants to go in there with her heater, don't you?
They should have seen her just a few minutes ago with her running around playing like she was.
But yeah, this right here is a whole lot better than it was, but it wouldn't hurt to probably do it one more time.
Well, we'll see how that goes.
The rest of them was all right.
The
but this
bracing I'm
one's-
going to put in there is going to really
Yeah,
help out a
yeah.
lot too.
Yeah.
But look, it's flat coming down out there.
I guess when I get done here, we'll go in and me and the youngins will get our school done. I'm gonna say this one's good enough. I'm
Right.
tired of fooling with it. It's a heck of a lot better than it was.
Good deal. All those T-posts over there are in. All down this side and this side. This will all be solid fence. Right here is where I'll have the spot where I can take the fence down to get the big tractor in there. But then there'll also be a 6-foot swinging gate right here. And the good thing that I figured out, like with this 6-foot swinging gate, is I can get my little Kubota in and out that 6-foot gate. So I don't have to take down the fence like that part down there, or like this is gonna be. I'll only have to take it down when I want to get the big tractor in there. So, you know, that makes it a lot more convenient because we do most of the work out here. If we ever do work inside this garden, most of the time it's with the little tractor anyways. But I don't know about you. I say it's time to get back in the house.
Daddy,
I've got cold.
You cold?
I am.
And tamping in post warmed me up.
Did it? So before we go back in the house, I do got one other thing I want to address because it's been a question in several videos, is what are these big green trees behind our garden right here? Well, those are like a privacy screen, but it's they're green giant arborvitaes. They're similar to a Leyland cypress. However, they, in my opinion, look better, and they seem to be a lot more hardy and strong than a Leyland cypress is. And then several times in the past, whenever we're dealing with brush, we get asked, why don't we chip it all up so we can use it for wood chips? Well, first answer to that question is, this go around, we didn't have a whole lot of brush to deal with, and we had plenty of time yesterday to fool with it. And that brings me to the second answer, is chipping this brush with that chipper I've got for the tractor takes a lot of time, and we don't always have the time to set aside to chip that brush. It would be nice to chip every bit of brush that we get that we fool with, but that's a quick, simple answer to that question, is why we don't deal with that, why we don't chip every bit of brush we have, simply because of time. And not only that, you have to have ways to deal with it too. So you'd have to have, you know, unless you're working at the place where you want your wood chips, you'd have to have something there to haul the wood chips away. You've got to have an extra tractor there to run the chipper. And so it's just, you know, there's a lot of different reasons why, but that's the main reason.
Well, it's still pretty snowy and cold and dreary outside. Snow's not sticking a whole lot, but it's kind of been pouring on and off all day. I thought I'd do a little extra work here in the kitchen and show y'all how I make my blueberry muffins using my canned blueberries from our blueberries this past summer. I can't remember if I filmed that or not. If I did, I will find it and link it for y'all when I can these. But I canned them just for this purpose. We love blueberry muffins for breakfast, and I like to go ahead and make them just when I have extra time, like right now, and we'll just eat them every morning until they're gone. So what we're going to start off with here is 2 3/4 cup of self-rising flour. We're going to add in 3/4 cup of sugar. And I'm going to go ahead and melt about 1/4 cup of lard in my pan over here, because we're going to need that too. Blueberry muffins are Andy's favorite. And we're not big time breakfast eaters, but we do enjoy eating something like muffins in the morning for breakfast. It's probably a little more than 1/4 cup. It'll be fine. It's all fine. So I'm going to mix in the sugar and the flour. Muffins are super simple to make. It's just setting the time aside to make them. I'm going to go ahead and go grab 2 eggs. About 3/4 cup, let's see. I think I'm going to do just 1/2 cup of milk for my canned blueberries, because I want that blueberry juice in there, and we'll just see what that looks like. If I was using fresh blueberries, I wouldn't have as much juice as I do with these canned ones, so got to adjust it a little bit. Put in a little vanilla. That was probably more than enough. And we're going to get all that whisked together for right now while we're waiting on our grease. And also, tonight for supper, I'm going to be making chicken and dumplings. It is the perfect meal for a day like today. Let me pour my grease in here. Now, of course, if you're using liquid grease, you don't got to melt it like that. But where I use lard, I have to melt it down to the liquid form to put it in stuff like this. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and add my berries. Give y'all a look close to those. Alright, pour that in there with the juice and all. Oh, these are going to be so good. And I like to use an ice cream scoop when I'm making muffins. Makes it a lot easier. Kind of plop that down in there. We're going to go ahead and have your oven on 400 degrees. Get that heating up while you're doing this part. All right. We're going to let these cook for about 20 minutes, and we'll see what they look like.
Also, she's been filling the bucket all the way to the top.
What are you fixing right now? Cow feed?
Yeah, I don't fix
Okay.
the horse feed right there.
Oh, you've already got the horse feed fixed.
Yeah.
Good.
Your mom says you always almost fill it all the way to the top.
Yeah, go ahead and fill it up. All right. Is that everybody? We got horses, the cows.
Yeah.
Here, I need to take that to the chickens.
Okay. I hear something in the sky. I think it's an airplane.
I hear it too.
I'm gonna go get this to the chickens. Chickens. Oh, I see Duchess. This is candy food. Look out, him. Look out. Oh, Duchess, she's wearing. Do you see Belle's baby?
Huh?
Do you see Belle's baby? It's in the hay tank.
Oh, it is, ain't it? Man, they need a roll of hay put in. They've really eat that up since yesterday. Watch out, Quaz. Back up, Ty.
Cause I
Back
don't
up.
know what to do.
Maggie, bring me that other bucket of feed over here. All right, girls. You know where to go, don't you, Candy?
She's so smart. Wanna get all the snow?
Come on, Belle.
You know what, Daddy? And when the last snow came, there was a huge chunk of ice in Ty's hair that was like froze on there.
Was it?
His hair must have been wet.
Well, you stay right there. I'm gonna go put them a bale of hay in.
Okay.
I want you to come down here with me and you can keep that gate shut and don't let them calves out.
Oh, those calves are just so cute. I'm gonna need you to unhook the gate.
I will.
Look at all the snow.
I know. We're gonna have to make this quick. Belle's already figured out she can't get to her calf and she don't like it. All right, as soon as I go in, you
Sure.
close the gate behind me.
Which way do I open it?
Inside. Good job, Maggie. I'm I'm a-coming, Bill, I'm a-coming. Your baby's just fine. Come on, hamburger. Get out of here. Come on. Crazy cows.
They quickly ran out. They mustn't like it all in here.
Maggie, drag me that green water hose. We got to put some water in here. Thank you, ma'am.
You're perfectly perfect, not on it.
I'm guessing it's not hooked up at the top of the hill either, so I'm going to have to run up there and hook that up.
So cute. Daddy,
Huh?
chocolate and that's just are so cute.
You think so?
Yeah.
They are pretty little calves. I'm going to run up here and cut the water on.
I can tell Black Stars is going to be Black Angus.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, it looks like one. You coming out or you staying in there? The water going in there?
Yeah.
As you can see, our snow is not very impressive. It's actually been snowing all day. Yeah, there's Chocolate and there's Duchess.
That's so cute.
So what I try to do every time we feed them is I move that hay ring from one spot to another, and that gives them another new spot of dry hay to lay in. And right in this area right here, it's not bad at all, but you get down there towards the bottom, it is pretty muddy. But it's like that everywhere. It's not just like that in here. All right, Maggie, let's go on back to the house. We'll be about time to fill up.
Yep.
I don't know, a couple videos back we were showing this area right here and talking about it being muddy. And somebody was saying, why didn't we use all those wood chips we had for this area? And I'm just going to be honest with you, I don't know how big it looks on camera, but it would take every single wood chip we've got to cover that spot. And I'm going to say in a week's time, it would be right back muddy. We have used some of those wood chips in some of the worst spots, and they help for a short period of time. And then it just gets really muddy again. We just don't have the access to that many wood chips. But the hay situation works out pretty good with it. Like I said, it's muddy underneath the hay, but right on top, it just gives them a nice dry layer to stay. Oh no, their water ain't froze.
Why did they got their all in it?
That's crazy that their water's not froze. It's only 29 degrees out here. And their water's not froze. Which, I'm not complaining about that.
Well, they've been in there about 20 minutes. They look really good. So we're going to take a butter knife on some of these bigger ones just to make sure they're done. Of course, a toothpick would be ideal in this situation, but I forgot to pick up some, and I don't have one. So, butter knife it is. And it should come out clean, just like you're checking a cake. That looks good. This one's a little bigger. Let me make sure. Yep. Those look plumb good. I hope y'all can see them. They got kind of that blue tint to them, and that's from the canned blueberries where they had the blueberry juice. These are going to be great. They're going to be great. Andy and the kids will love them. All right, let's get started on our chicken and dumplings. This is one of our most favorite meals, and I make the big fluffy dumplings. I think some people call them drop dumplings, but that's the kind that I make instead of the rollout kind. It's what we enjoy, but I'm going to go ahead and gently pour out a little bit of chicken broth I made here. What I did was last night or yesterday, I cooked a whole chicken in the crock pot, and we ate on that last night, and I used the broth from the crock pot. I've got it in the refrigerator. I gotta get that out. And the leftover chicken is what's going to be going in the chicken and dumplings. I kind of plan ahead of time sometimes. I try to think about things in my head, and I knew the weather was going to get super cold, and I knew I wanted some chicken and dumplings. So that's why we had chicken yesterday. But I'm gonna gently I didn't have quite enough from the crock pot. That's why I wanted to make just a little bit more. But you'll notice this chicken broth is like jelly. If you're new to making your own broth, y'all, that's what you're looking for. Nothing's wrong with it. That's actually what you want. That is a good sign of some really good chicken broth. So like I said, you're going to want to start off with roughly a quart of broth. I'm going to go ahead and let that start heating up. And that jelly-like broth, of course, will turn back into soup. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put about a quart of milk in there too. I'm just going to go ahead and use my jar to measure here that I have the chicken broth in. There we go. We'll let that slowly heat up. While we're waiting on this to heat up, I'm going to go ahead and make my dumplings and we'll set those off to the side. We're going to need roughly 2 cups of self-rising flour. Make sure for your dumplings you use self-rising flour, not all-purpose, or not plain all-purpose, I guess I should say. Because if you use plain all-purpose, they will come out extremely dense. Believe me, it happens to the best of us. Now, we're going to act like we're making biscuits. I'm going to get me a big spoonful of lard. Around a third a cup of lard is what I'm going to put in these. You can, of course, replace that with shortening or butter, whatever you usually use. We're going to work that in, like I said, just like we're making biscuits. You're looking for that rough texture, like we're getting here. Then, we're going to add in our milk. We're going to add a cup to a cup and a half of milk. I think I got a little extra flour in there, so I'm going to go ahead and add that half. Combine that. Now, that right there is the perfect dumpling texture. So, we're going to set those to the side. Now, when we eat chicken and dumplings, we do like a thicker soup. That's all personal preference. A lot of people don't put any thickener in their chicken and dumplings, but we do like it a little bit thick, so I'm going to add a little flour milk mixture to it. If you don't have any fat in your soup from your chicken broth, go ahead and add you some butter in there. There we go. That worked out perfect. I just finished that bag. I'm going to pour some milk in there. Just get that mixed up till it's smooth, and then we'll add it to our soup. And that'll thicken it up just enough. And you know what? If it ain't as thick as you want it, add more. Or, like I said, if you don't want it thick at all, don't put it in there. Now notice I have not added my chicken yet. We'll do that right before we put the dumplings in there. Just from past experience, when I put this thickener in there and the chicken's in there, it tries to stick to the bottom. It's snowing again. So I saved my chicken for next to last. For the next to last step here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour in my flour mixture. You want to stir that pretty good. when you first put it in there, because again, it will try to stick to the bottom if you ain't careful. Now, before we add in our shredded chicken and our dumpling mixture, you want this to be at a real good boil. Like a good rolling boil that will give you the best dumplings. Now, you can do it when it's just starting to boil, but you'll notice they won't fluff up quite as much. Can y'all tell that I've made chicken and dumplings a million times? Probably one of my most favorite things to cook. You know, I cook a lot of stuff, but I like chicken and dumplings. I like fixing them, and y'all know I like eating them. And I can't remember if I told y'all or not, but be sure if you're making chicken and dumplings, you got them in a deep pot. You notice when I just had y'all up close, it's only about half full of liquid right now. That's what you want. You don't want it close to the top, because once it starts boiling with them dumplings in it, it'll try to, I mean, it raises up quite a bit. It'll try to come out. Now, we're about to start boiling here. I'm going to go ahead and add in my shredded chicken. A lot of times if I have big pieces of chicken, like from chicken breast and stuff, I'll just chop them up, but this I just shredded. Just depends on how the mood strikes me the day that I'm making it. And I'm going to go ahead and drop all that in there, because that'll cool it off a little bit, and I don't want it to cool it off right before I put my dumplings in. And also add any seasonings you like. Most time when you're cooking stuff, especially with milk and flour, it's going to need plenty of salt, and I like to put in some black pepper too. Now, if you're wanting to make chicken stew like I do, this is where you stop at. This is pretty much how I make my chicken stew, except for my chicken stew, I do make it thicker than this is. Maggie likes it without the dumplings, so I'm just going to go ahead and dip her some out before it gets going here. So we're starting to boil. I want to let it get to a boil that's not going to really stop when I stir it. But before you start putting your dumplings in, go ahead and give it a really good stir, because after we put those in, while they're cooking, we're going to leave it alone. You don't want your dumplings to fall apart before they get done. Alright, we're at a good boil here. So we'll go ahead and start adding them in. Just get me a little spoonful about like that. I'm just going to drop them in. I'll try not to drop any on top of each other if I can help it. I'm going to cover them. We're going to let them simmer for about 5 or 10 minutes, and I'll show you what they look like when they're done. So they've been going about 5 minutes. I'm going to check and see what we look like here. You can see how close that is to the top. If we can scoot that back, and it looks like bread inside of it. I hope y'all can see that. Fluffy, nice fluffy bread. You know your dumplings are about done. So I do adjust my heat as they're boiling if it tries to boil up too much. As long as they keep that continuous boil, I did cut my heat down a little bit. I'm going to let them simmer another couple of minutes with the lid off, and then we'll let them cool and fix us a bowl.
Look at them dumplings.
That big one right there. Can't get it.
Those are fluffy.
They look good, don't they?
They do look good. I remember when I was little, Mama used to make chicken dumplings. Well, I would take all the dumplings and leave the soup because that was my favorite part.
The dumplings?
Yeah.
Here's your quick up close of it.
There we go.
Well, y'all, I guess we're going to sit down and enjoy us a bite of supper. And I guess that's going to about wrap it up.
And it's still trying to snow. However, it's not accumulated to anything.
But anyways, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. Hope you might have learned a little something. Until we see y'all on the next one.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.